Honourable Clayton Cosgrove.
Mr Speaker, on the 17th of November 2008, the Prime Minister said the following, quote, "I expect high standards from my ministers," unquote, he said. Quote, "If they don't meet the standards I set, then obviously I will take action if necessary," unquote. And it's interesting that Mr English is the first speaker for the other side and talked about at length what he thinks the New Zealand people believe. Well, I say this to Mr English. They believe that the Prime Minister has not lived up to the standards that he set for himself and his ministers. The New Zealand people believed it was not on when Mr English dodged, weaved, squirmed and tried everything he could, sir, to get around the rules when he claimed for a house, I think it was in the order, sir, of $24,000, claimed for a house, rented, I think, ministerial services back to his trust. I say to that member, the people of New Zealand believed all too well that that member dodged and weaved and behaved inappropriately and cheated. And what did the Prime Minister, sir, what was the Prime Minister's response to that? Was it to admonish him? Was it to sack him? Was it to censure him? No, it was to change the rules, the ministerial rules, so not only he could get $24,000, he and every minister, I think, could get in the order of $48,000 or thereabouts without producing a receipt. So he didn't get sacked, sir.
Point of order. Order.
You can't hack it.
Order. A point of order has been called.
Mr Speaker, I seek leave to make a personal explanation relevant to what the members just said.
Leave is sought for that course of action. Is there any objection? The Honourable Bill English, personal explanation.
Mr Speaker, the member has given the impression that under the new rules I claim a housing allowance. That is incorrect. I claim no housing allowance.
I thank the Honourable Member, the Honourable Clayton Cosgrove.
Of course, his statement, because he did so by choice. He did so by choice, that is the new housing allowance. He did so by choice. He could still claim it, sir, if he did. It is within the rules. But because the feet were put to the fire month after month, day after day, because of his dodgy arrangements, he had no option but to say to the Prime Minister, even though I can claim the new rules that you have rewritten to benefit me, I will not do so. That's the part of the explanation we didn't hear. So what was the new higher standard then? Change the rules to suit him. Then we had, of course, Richard Worth. We won't go down the track too much. Another standard breached, another dodgy deal overseas, a member who is now not in this place, and the Prime Minister stood by Richard Worth day after day, month after month, until the inevitable happened, sir. And then we come to Rodney Hyde. Rodney Hyde, the great perk buster. The ACT members, Tweedledum and Tweedledummer over there, sir, who stand up for him every day. The man who said railed, destroyed careers, attacked families because he viewed their use of travel allowances as perks and inappropriate, was then unzipped, I won't say from where, and was found, sir, to be using it for his own purposes. What was the highest? There's a word for that which you won't let me use, sir, and I accept it. But we know what it is. What was the high standard? What did the Prime Minister do there? Nothing. Then strike two on Mr Hyde, the man who stood by and covered up, aided and abetted a suppression order and knew about a member of this House, a former member, sir, who stole a dead child's identity. What did the Prime Minister do then? Oh, that was in a private capacity. Nothing to do with me, says the Prime Minister. Then we had Phil Heatley, the old limousine, remember that? Following the train or the self-drive all the way to Nelson so he could drive back. I don't know whether it was full of flowers or something, I don't know. Presents, who knows? And then, of course, the old half-dozen bottle of wine at the National Party conference on the ministerial credit card. Oh, what was the Prime Minister's response then? Take him out, relax, bring him back. Where were the high standards, sir, and where was the action there? Then, of course, we had Mr Finlayson, Mr Grumpy, all right, Mr Finlayson, who for 4 years never, sir, declared on his pecuniary interest he had a directorship. Dame Margaret Basie said it was incorrect. It was a false return. Action, none taken. It was a mistake. And then, of course, we come to the doozy, Pansy Wong. Pansy Wong, now, the investigation that was carried out on her, sir, I put it to you, is a cover-up. It is a cover-up for this reason. Because to my knowledge in history, no one who has pleaded guilty to the accusation and said, yes, funds were misused, is then investigated in the following way. Asked to produce a few diaries, asked if she's done it again, answer no. Has Sammy done it again? No. And then the investigator says, okay, fine, I believe you. End of story. didn't check one fact or corroborating evidence. That, sir, would not stand up in a court, and we know there is a former member of this House, sir, who was charged and found guilty of a similar offence, sir. But, what is the action here? Well, she's out of cabinet. The Prime Minister says if you plead guilty once, you're cleared, it's okay. Just don't plead guilty too many times. That's the highest standard of the National Party, sir, and that's, I say to Mr English, what the New Zealand people believe.